The classroom buzzed with excitement. Only 3 days remained before the national college entrance exam. But no one was talking about studying. The school beauty, Lucini, stood confidently at the front of the room with a bright smile. "Everyone," she announced. "We've worked hard for 3 years. Let's take one last graduation trip before the exam. It'll only be 1 day. We'll come back refreshed." The classroom erupted in cheers. "I'll go. Count me in. This will be unforgettable." Even the class teacher smiled and said, "As long as everyone stays safe, I support it." At the back of the classroom, Linyu suddenly froze. Her face turned pale. She looked around at the familiar classroom, the familiar classmates, and the date written on the blackboard. 3 days before the exam. "No," she whispered to herself. "I came back." Memories flooded her mind. In her previous life, she had joined this exact trip. On the way home, a massive landslide buried the tour bus. Many classmates died. Those who survived missed the most important exam of their lives. Linyu had sacrificed herself trying to save others. Darkness. Pain. Then, she opened her eyes again. This was her second chance. Lucini walked over with a warm smile. "Linyu, you're coming with us, right?" "Everyone is going." The entire class turned to look at her. Linyu slowly stood up. Her voice was calm but firm. "I'm not going." The classroom fell silent. Then laughter filled the room. "She's scared. What a boring person. She's just jealous because Cindy organized the trip." Lucini's smile stiffened for a moment. "Linyu, don't ruin everyone's happiness." Linyu looked at every familiar face. She remembered who had survived. She remembered who hadn't. Taking a deep breath, she said quietly, "If you go, you'll regret it for the rest of your lives." The room became silent once again. The classroom exploded with laughter. "Linyu must be crazy. It's just a 1-day trip. She's trying to scare everyone." The school beauty, Lucini, sighed dramatically. "Linyu, if you don't want to come, that's fine. But don't ruin everyone else's happiness." The class monitor stood up. "Anyone who doesn't join the trip isn't part of our graduation memories." The entire class applauded. Linyu clenched her fists. She knew they weren't evil. They simply didn't know what was about to happen. She walked straight to the teacher. "Teacher, please cancel the trip." The teacher frowned. "Why?" "Because there's going to be a landslide on the mountain road." The classroom fell silent. Then, everyone burst into laughter. "Landslide? Did you dream about it? Stop making things up." Even the teacher shook his head. "Linyu, unless you have evidence, I can't cancel the trip." Linyu immediately checked her phone. Just as she remembered. The Weather Bureau had issued a heavy rain warning for the mountain area. She quickly showed the notice to the teacher. Before he could read it carefully, Lucini smiled. "The forecast says rain is only possible. We've already paid for everything. Don't worry so much." The teacher hesitated. Finally, he sighed. "The trip will continue as planned." Linyu lowered her head. She had failed to stop them. As the class happily boarded the buses the next morning, Linyu stood alone at the school gate. She whispered, "Please, don't let history repeat itself." At that moment, her phone suddenly rang. An unknown number appeared on the screen. When she answered, a deep voice said, "Miss Lin, if you want to save your classmates, listen carefully." The tour bus slowly climbed the winding mountain road. Inside, the students laughed, took selfies, and sang together. Lucini smiled as she live-streamed. Best graduation trip ever. Back at school, Linyu couldn't focus on her books. She stared at the clock. 10:28 a.m. Her heart pounded. In her previous life, this was the exact time everything changed. Suddenly, dark clouds covered the sky. Rain poured down. The mountain began to shake. Boom! A deafening roar echoed through the valley. Huge rocks crashed onto the road. The first bus slammed on the brakes. The second bus couldn't stop in time. Students screamed as the road disappeared beneath them. The buses were trapped between falling rocks. Inside the bus, panic erupted. "Help! We're trapped. The mountain is collapsing." Lucini dropped her phone as tears filled her eyes. Meanwhile, Linyu's phone rang. It was the unknown caller again. "They're trapped." Linyu immediately called the emergency rescue center. "I know exactly where they are." The operator hesitated. "How do you know?" Linyu replied without hesitation. "There's no time to explain. If you leave now, you'll save them." The rescue teams rushed toward the mountain. As helicopters appeared above the valley, the trapped students looked up in disbelief. One classmate whispered, "How? Did Linyu know?" Lucini slowly lowered her head. For the first time, she realized Linyu had been telling the truth all along. The rescue operation lasted for 6 hours. Every student was brought back safely. News of the mountain collapse spread across the city. The next morning, the entire school gathered in the auditorium. The principal stood on the stage with a serious expression. The rescue team confirmed that the mountain road became dangerous because of the severe weather. Warning issued before the trip. The room fell silent. The principal continued. Someone in this school tried to stop the trip. Everyone turned toward Linyu. The rescue commander stepped forward. If Miss Linyu hadn't called us in advance with the exact location, we would have arrived much later. The auditorium erupted in shock. The class monitor lowered his head. I'm sorry. One by one, the classmates apologized. We thought you were lying. You were trying to save us. Tears filled several students' eyes. Then the principal looked at Lucini. Our investigation found that you received the weather warning the night before the trip. Lucini's face turned pale. You never informed the school. Instead, you encouraged everyone to continue. Because you didn't want to cancel your graduation live stream. The entire auditorium gasped. Lucini slowly broke down in tears. I never thought it would become so serious. The principal announced. Because of your irresponsible actions, you are suspended pending further investigation. As Lucini walked out of the auditorium, no one followed her. For the first time, she stood completely alone. Linyu quietly looked out the window. The National College entrance exam was only 2 days away. She smiled. This time, nothing will stop my future. 2 days later, the National College entrance exam finally began. As students entered the examination hall, many looked at Linyu with guilt. One classmate bowed. Thank you. You saved my life. Another whispered. I'm sorry for not believing you. Linyu simply smiled. Let's do our best. The exam papers were handed out. Unlike her first life, Linyu remained calm. Every question felt familiar. She confidently filled in every answer. 3 weeks later, the results were announced. The entire school gathered around the ranking board. A teacher shouted excitedly. First place in the province. Linyu. Thunderous applause echoed through the campus. Reporters rushed to interview her. How did you achieve such an incredible result? Linyu smiled gently. I learned that every choice can change your future. Never give up because of one mistake. Her classmates cheered as she received an admission letter from the country's top university. Even Lucini, now wearing a simple school uniform after returning to apologize, quietly walked over. I'm sorry. I almost destroyed everyone's future. Linyu accepted the apology with a calm smile. The past can't be changed, but the future can. She looked up at the bright blue sky. This life. She had protected her classmates. She had achieved her dream. And for the first time, she was truly free. The end.